Hey guys, it's time for the question of the week. And today's question, before I get into that, I just wanted to make a quick announcement. We have really good news. So we've been inundated by so many of you who weren't, for whatever reason, able to enroll in my Magnetize Your Twin Flame coaching program in time for the November 22nd start date of last Friday. And as you know, part of a bonus for enrolling in that group was free admission to my live event on December 14th in Jacksonville Beach, Florida, my live event called A Journey to Love. And we've been just receiving so many questions from you guys asking if you could still attend the live event, even if you weren't able to enroll in the program. And yes, you can. We have set aside a few spaces for those of you who couldn't enroll in the program but still want to attend the event. And so if you would like to do so, please check the details in this post. There's an email. You can email admin@bewithyourtwinflame.com or PM me and let us know. And do also let us know if you're already a current student of mine, or you have also purchased the Process Do-It-Yourself System downloads, because there are specific discounts available for each of those people. But even if you have not purchased anything, you are not a student of mine, you can still go under the regular admission price. So definitely PM or email me if you are interested, because spaces are filling up and we are keeping this as small as possible. So it's a small, intimate affair. Anyway, I hope to see you all there. So great. Anyway, so getting into the question of the week. This question comes from someone on my Instagram. And this question is, how can you tell if something is your intuition or fear-based thoughts? And this is a really good question. I get this. It's not the first time I've gotten this question. I've had students, ask me this question a few times. And so how the best way you can tell that is really where the thought is, right? So for example, intuition is subtle. It's almost imperceptible, right? I mean, obviously people are in tune with their intuition, and others, some more than others, and that's perfect. But it's a very subtle thing. It's almost like a knowing. Intuition comes more from the heart area to the gut area, right? Whereas fear-based thoughts are mind. So they're going to come from your mind. They're going to, be in your head. And they're not as subtle. They're very forceful and very, hardcore and more scary, right? They have, fear-based thoughts tend to have more emotion attached to them. Not necessarily scary, but, fear-based. So they tend to have more emotion attached to them. By fear-based, I mean any kind of emotion that's a swing, right? An extreme high or an extreme low. That is fear-based. So, any emotion attached to a thought is fear-based energy. Intuition, when you get intuition, when you feel it, remember, when you feel it, you don't think it. Fear-based thoughts, you think, and then you feel. That's kind of another difference. What comes first, the chicken or the egg? Well, with intuition, it's the feeling usually, then the thought. Whereas with fear-based thoughts, it's usually the thought, then the feeling. Although, if you don't know how to watch your thoughts and you're not really practiced at that, a lot of times most people, how they know they're even having a thought first, a fear-based thought, is that they do have a feeling first. They're feeling like awful. Well, then they have to think like, why am I feeling awful? And they can kind of determine what thought forms are causing, that awful feeling. But, with intuition, it's a feeling. The feeling comes first. And then from the feeling, you can kind of like maybe intuit what the thought would be or what's going on there, right? And so those are really two the biggest ways to tell the difference. Intuition, softer, more subtle, also a feeling, also where it takes place in your body, usually between the heart and sacral chakra. Whereas the fear-based thoughts in your mind, they are fear-based, they have emotion attached to them. And, the thought comes first before the feeling. The thought creates the feeling. Well, the belief in the thought creates the feeling, but, the thought comes first. And so with intuition, it it's subtle, but and you know, it doesn't really have emotion to it at first, and you know, it's almost like I said, imperceptible. And also, fear-based thoughts. Fear-based thoughts, it's like you can you can get you can get there with logic, and I say logic as, you know, very loose term, but you know, you can rationalize it, right? Because it's in the mind, so your mind's going to come up with reasons why this could be, you know, the case. Like it's going to look at evidence and external, you know, external stuff going on. It's going to look outside of you to for proof or evidence of, you know, the fear-based thought, you know, to come up with the fear-based thought, if that makes sense. It's based on things that are going on outside of you. Intuition comes from within you, right? So it's like you're not necessarily looking for things outside of you, or you know, trying to come up with evidence or proof of something or anything like that. It's just an intuition just comes to you, and it comes usually out of nowhere, usually when you're calm, when you're peaceful, when you're least expecting it. Again, there's not much emotion involved with intuition, at least not at first. Now, of course, you could get intuition and then all of a sudden, you know, determine thoughts and intuition, and then all of a sudden, you know, your fear-based energy will kick in with those thoughts, you know, and run with that. But you know, intuition, how when it first comes to you, it's subtle. It's again between usually in the area of your body, heart. It's the sacral chakra, and you know, it isn't based on what your physical senses are perceiving. Intuition is not a physical, sensical thing, right? It's more from the clair senses. And by clair senses, I mean they are not our physical senses. So we have our physical senses of sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell, right? I think those are them. Well, then we have our clair senses, which are like our psychic senses, which, you know, you can be like clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, claircognizant, and you know, I think there's even clair ones for taste and smell, and I don't know what those are called. But you know, so with those, you know, it's those senses are not based on physicality, on what our physical senses are based on what's going on around us in the physical external world, right? Those clair senses or psychic senses come from within, you know, or, you know, from the universe, but to us within, right? Like there's like channels to us. And so that's the main thing. That's what intuition, it comes from within. It's not based on what we're seeing or hearing or looking at or experiencing outside of us usually. So yeah, I hope that answers the question there. It could take some practice, getting used to knowing what is intuition and what is fear-based. And you know, it really, they could overlap. They could be the same. You know, there's not like your intuition can't be a thought that you would have that would be, you know, a fear-based thought that you would determine from looking at, you know, physical evidence or something, right? But you know, intuition is, you know, it just comes first before even looking at the evidence or something or outside external things going on. So I hope that makes that clear. Anyway, so I hope that answers the question. And thank you so much for the question. And you guys, please keep submitting them. I will get to them eventually, I promise. And definitely check out what's going on if you'd like to know about admission to my live event. Look at the description of this video and find out the information on how to get that there. And keep watching this week, because we have some a pretty cool Black Friday deal coming up as well. So stay tuned, tune in, have a great week and a great rest of your day, and lots of love.